This is going to be your weekly chakra energy check-in. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. We're going to take a look at the energies you may be experiencing throughout your chakras. So in the comments, I invite you to tell me your word of the day, word of the week. What's going on in your current energy right now? You know, as I'm filming this, we're leading up to a full moon in Sagittarius. And this is a very good and lucky moon. However, the emotions the last few days or last week even were very intense for a lot of people. And I do feel like there has been this sudden release, you know, where it's not as intense as it was. But I do know that people are really working through a lot of triggers. And that's a good thing, right? Because full moons are all about purging, surrendering, and letting go. Interesting. This might be an extra message for somebody. Speak to yourself with kindness. Become aware of how you speak to yourself. So there you go. How many of you have been going back and forth about something in your life? You know, should I, shouldn't I? Can I have this? Can I really have this? Or you may just be in a negative mindset thinking that you can't achieve something. And I want you to know that kindness goes a long way, especially to yourself. Number 33, Ascended Masters. Important message I think that needed to pop up. Now, we are going to be doing a full moon Zoom on Friday, May 24th at 6 p.m. Eastern. The link is in my bio. I'm excited to see what energies come up for this full moon Zoom. It's a 2-hour Zoom session, general collective reading. You'll get the recording, and it also includes a mini reading for you, personalized by the next new moon. So anyways, let's take a look at the overall themes and messages for your chakras right now. And we have, you know the way. Trust your intuition on this journey. You know what? We had number 33. Now we have number 44. I love it. You know the way. Trust your intuition. And this is my whole point. Should I? Shouldn't I? Can I have this? Can I really have this? Do I do this? Do I know how to do this? You just have to make the moves and see what happens. Trust yourself. If you feel the need to do something, do it. If you want to start something new, do it. You want to start a business, do it. Learn something, take a course, whatever it is, do it. It's only going to take you in new directions. And I love that for you. Okay, let's take a look at what else we need to know. And it says, beneath the surface, hidden truths, something unknown. Oh my goodness, this is so the theme of this full moon in Sagittarius. You know, Sagittarius energy is truth-seeking, revelations, adventure, things coming to the surface. Well, I do believe that that is the case. I think something will come to light. It may not necessarily be easy, but at the same time, it's going to be very beneficial, I believe. Now, let's take a Moonology card here just to see what else we need to know. We do have the full moon, so let's use it. Emotions are running high. Absolutely. No surprise on that one. If you don't mind me asking and you're willing to share, what are the emotions that you're feeling? What is it that you might be struggling with? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Chakra Wisdom Tarot, which has all the different colors of the chakras or energy centers in the body. And we're going to take a card for each chakra. And then I'm going to take some oracle cards to clarify those energies. And you know, I've been talking a lot lately about the journey through the chakras. It's so important that we understand that in order to get to the higher consciousness, you know, we start with our root, we go to our sacral, you know, we go to the solar plexus, we go to the heart, we go to the throat, the third eye, and then the crown. You know, it all comes together through the journey. And so let's start at the root chakra, which is building a solid foundation. So let's see right now what's going on in that lower chakra. And we have here the Queen of Wands. Interesting. Queen of Wands is an energy of confidence, right? Strutting your stuff, believing that you can have this new foundation. Look at it. You know the way. You know the way. Even though your emotions may be running high and testing you, you know the way. So I love this. This is a great start. Now, the only thing that I can say about the Queen of Wands that could be a factor, depending on your situation, is that the Queen of Wands can sometimes indicate interference or another woman in the mix. And I don't mean to make it about gender, but essentially it can be something poking into your business. Now, naturally, if there is third party in whatever way, Ask yourself, do you want to be a part of that? Is that something you want? Does it serve you? What do you get out of the situation? And oftentimes, when there's too many chefs in the kitchen or people sort of butting into your business, it only complicates things. And what it requires us to do is to basically make boundaries. And back to my original point, this is about being confident in yourself. If you need to make a boundary, make it. If someone's upset with you for making a boundary, you know you needed one. So let's see what we need to know about this energy. This will give us more info. And oh my gosh, everybody's, you know what? It's so interesting about the storm card. I giggled to myself when I heard, Kelly, we need to retire this card. I can't control what card comes out, but yeah, something's brewing. Definitely something's brewing. And it says, something sudden, could be unexpected. Doesn't have to be an ending. I do think that the storm energy can actually be liberation and freedom. Sometimes we need it. We need that freedom from something that's been holding us back. And at a certain point, if it is over, well, over and done means I'm not going to entertain anything anymore. So it really depends on your scenario. But yeah, there's definitely something brewing in the air, and that's okay, right? All right, let's get the other oracle card here for that energy and see what we need to know. Oh, the kerosene. Oh boy, we got fire. We got fire. Okay, well, determination, ignition, and courage. Could be a volatile situation. Watch out, because here I come. Somebody's getting ready to make a move. Okay, now, just a small observation here. Doesn't have to mean anything. I see the green, the green is the heart chakra, and it looks to me like somebody's getting ready to clear something out in the heart chakra. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on here in the sacral chakra. This is Venus. This is self-worth, self-value, and self-respect. It's also how we love, how we spend money, what we value. And there's the death card, death and rebirth. Many of us are going through a massive transformation. And I know it sounds like we're doing that all the time, but we are actually. We're lifelong learners. We're always going to grow. We're always going to change. There's always going to be something that we need to do. And I think that's the hard part about the spiritual journey, is that oftentimes people will say, I've done so much work. I've done so much work. And absolutely you have, no question. But that work always continues. We never stop doing the work. I mean, I don't think there's been a moment, I'll use the last decade as an example. I don't think there's been a moment in the last decade where I've had to stop. It's continual. Like, it is lifelong learning, gaining wisdom, knowledge, implementing the things that I've learned, checking my work as I go, and learning new things, And that's a part of life. We're students of the school of life. And school doesn't end, as soon as we hit grade 12. It continues, right? So let's see what else we need to know about that death and rebirth. Now, ultimately, as I'm filming this, I believe that moon should be in Scorpio because, oh, funny, I just said Scorpio. There's the aloof card. Because the moon obviously is in Scorpio just before Sagittarius, and the full moon is in Sagittarius. So if you're feeling the emotions are running high, it could very well be tied to the fact that the moon is in Scorpio, because that's not a very comfortable position. Anybody with a moon in Scorpio knows that it's extremely emotional, and it's a moon where people don't typically feel understood, So if you're in that mode right now where you're feeling, overwhelmed emotionally, or you just don't feel understood, that could just be what you're experiencing in this current energy. Now, a side note, actually, I always look at Scorpio energy kind of like this. Imagine for a moment you're looking at somebody, in a pool, or in a lake, or swimming in the ocean. On the surface, a Scorpio can have everything together. They can be totally composed, sitting like this cat here, so aloof, unbothered, and then beneath the surface, beneath the water, they're treading water, they're panicking, or they're trying to figure things out. And that could very well be kind of the energy that you might be experiencing right now. Now, if you are a Scorpio or dealing with a Scorpio, you know that internally a Scorpio is always brewing. You know, there's always something that they're processing. And this energy here tells you, I mean, double Scorpio message here, that you're transforming. But this energy says be unbothered, be aloof, you know, and sometimes it means like just be cool and calm. I know that's easier said than done, you know. Nobody ever likes it when we say, you know, calm down. But essentially, it kind of means pick your battles right now. That would be my advice. Just pick your battles. You're going through a transformation. Be careful what gets your blood boiling or what gets your emotions going. Don't let anybody push your buttons right now. And there's the universe. Yeah, the universe is talking. I've been saying that a lot lately. I mean, you're getting a lot of signs. Look at this. Look at this Scorpio energy. Scorpio, Scorpio, and Scorpio. No surprise. So right now, your sacral chakra is going through this change of self-confidence. You know, maybe you're going from more anxious to unbothered, you know, being in that cat energy. Okay, so let's take a look at the solar plexus, personal power. Oops, this card looked like it wanted to come out. What is it? Ah, the Queen of Coins. You're looking for stability, right? Naturally. In order to find stability, we have to make stability. We have to make changes to get us in a more peaceful energy. And let's see what we need to know about that. Yeah, expect the unexpected. You know, it's interesting. The fire, I mean, obviously we're having a full moon that's in a fire sign. This is sort of that energy that comes in when you least expect it. When you're calm, cool, collected, and you're not trying to force anything, you're just looking for consistency, you tend to get things when you're not trying to control it, right? And so let's see what else we need to know here. Okay, well, within a few days, look, 7-7, if you're seeing that number. Yeah, the situation or event in question will develop or unfold within a matter of days. So you're in the process of making some moves, and I think that that move is going to come when you least expect it. You know, it's like, this is how, okay, hold on. Let me tell you something that I said in a session yesterday, and let me see if this resonates with you, because I actually feel like it fits this. I don't know if you've seen This Is It with Michael Jackson. I've always been a huge Michael Jackson fan, and this is one of my favorite moments in This Is It. And I believe it's the moment where he's about to perform Smooth Criminal. I think it's Smooth Criminal. And the director is saying, Michael, you know, how are you going to know? How are you going to know to start? Because you can't see the marquee and you can't see anybody signal you. And I believe Michael says, I'm going to feel it. I'm just going to feel it. And he says, if I'm not mistaken, let it sizzle. And I'm thinking about this heat here. Let it sizzle. You're going to know when the right time is to make a move. You're just going to know. It's going to be unexpected. It's going to be one of those moments where you're just going to have to feel it in the moment. You can't plan it. You can't even really know that right moment to pick that battle, that fight, or make that decision until you just feel it. You know, and again, that's a lot of trusting your intuition. You know the way. You'll know when the right moment is there. Let me know if that resonates. Okay, so let's see. Let's take a look at the heart chakra. Ten of Cups. Ultimate wish fulfillment. Happiness. It's one thing to ask for, another thing to allow it. You got to make moves to get to your happiness. Oops. There we go. Ooh, the stars. Wishes coming true. Peace. Miracle. Dream. Falling in love. I love that energy. Okay. Very, very, very positive. That is lovely. You know what? Dear John. Dear John letter means you're saying goodbye to something. Your new life is going to cost you your old life. If you want this happiness in, you've got to let go of the old. If you were going to write a letter to yourself, and I've said this before, like a resignation letter, what would you resign from? Dear self, please accept this letter of resignation, effective immediately. I will no longer be providing the services of overgiver, overdoer, problem solver, whatever it is. What would you resign from right now in order to make room in your new life? You know? And by the way, I know the new can be scary, but it can also be extremely exciting. And this is the whole point. We're purging, we're surrendering, we're letting go, we're saying goodbye to certain things that no longer serve us. And that's the energy of a full moon. If you want this happiness, you've got to make room for that happiness, right? And I was talking about purging your devices recently, letting go of old pictures and conversations and things that no longer serve you. I mean, you know the way. So if you know the way, trust yourself and make room for that newness to come through. So let's take a look at the throat chakra. Let's talk about communication here. You know, another song that came up the other day from me in a reading was Let's Give Them Something to Talk About. I was filming and that was the lyric that came up, and it's almost like, let's give them something to talk about. Let's go make a move. Let's do something different. Let's have the unexpected, you know? Let's give the unexpected. Okay, throat chakra, 10 of Wands. Okay, 1010 could be an angel number that you're seeing. This is interesting because I'm just going to go out on a limb here and ask something. Are you tired of trying to communicate and not feeling listened to? You know, there's always that difference between hearing and listening. You know, very similar verbs. And I used to say this to my students, and I think a lot of parents say this to their children. You know, I know you can hear me, but are you listening? Like, are you actually taking in what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of people right now that don't feel understood. And funny, that's that Moon and Scorpio kind of vibe that I was just talking about, where sometimes people just don't feel understood. And you could say it over and over and over again, and somehow it's just not understood. It's just not computing. And there's this exhaustion of trying, you know. And I always say, you don't have to convince anyone. If you're having to convince anybody of anything, it's just not the right situation. You know what I mean? And it's tough when people just don't listen. And that goes both ways. You know, sometimes, you know, we're trying to communicate and they're not listening. And sometimes we don't listen either. You know, it goes both ways. So I don't know about you, but I think some of you are tired in regards to communication. So here's the thing. You've got Mother Earth here. This is about inner identity. And I talk about this actually quite frequently with people. A lot of us feel misunderstood, you know, and we're tired of trying to convince people and change someone's opinion of us. And it really doesn't matter, really, what anybody thinks of us. But I think it happens at a very young age. Often when we've been labeled a certain way, it's really hard to change people's opinions, you know? And then therefore we don't feel authentic and we feel like the shame of being our authentic selves. And it can follow us through life, you know? And I think the older we get, I think anyways, the more we start to not care about what other people think. And I'd be curious to know, at what point did you feel that in your life? I know where it was for me. I was walking along a trail with a friend of mine, and I was going through a really tough time. This is when, you know, everything hit the fan in my marriage, and, you know, everything was unraveling. And I remember a friend said something to me along the lines of, Kel, what if someone sees you? What if someone hears you? Whatever. And I looked at her and I just said, I don't care. I'll put it to you that way. I'll say it in the nice way for YouTube. But I said, I don't give a you know what. When you hit a point where you don't care, that's when someone is at their highest power. That's when moves really get made, when you have nowhere to go but up. And I think some of you are struggling with your inner identity of living your authentic truth and being seen for who you really are or what you really want. And if people can't give you those things, or they don't have the capacity in whatever way, then you have to ask yourself, at what point do you say, okay, I'm done, or I'm going to move on from this, or now I'm really going to make some moves and I'm going to give you something to talk about. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. And yeah, I have a feeling that that's something that some of you may be experiencing right now. The rings, this is interesting. The rings are a few things, obviously. We think of relationships right away. It's about commitment, strong connections, like-minded people, soulmate, twin flame kind of energy. But here's the thing, and that is, what is your commitment to yourself? I know we focus a lot on relationships, and don't get me wrong, I love love too. I mean, who doesn't want to be loved? Who doesn't want to feel understood and listened to and all these beautiful things? But then when it all comes down to it, how do we get the things that we want? We get them from living our authentic truth and surrendering and being committed to ourselves. We can try to commit to manifesting a specific person or manifesting a specific relationship. But I think the difficulty I have with that is that when we focus so heavily on someone else, we lose ourselves. We become committed to another person more than we're committed to ourselves. And I always think of the line, I love you, but I love myself more. You've got to love yourself more. You've got to put yourself up there. You've got to know your worth. And, that means asking, what are you willing to accept and not willing to accept? But I do believe that strong relationships and lovers and a wonderful relationship come from letting go of the burdens, and finding yourself. So it really is perspective and how you're looking at this energy, Let's take a look at the third eye, which is, of course, intuition. What's going on in that aspect? Okay, Temperance. Well, patience. Patience, patience, patience. Okay, let me get into something a little bit here, because I know this isn't always an easy conversation. Temperance is patience, right? Patience is really difficult for the majority of people because we want instant gratification. Forgiveness, that can be a tough one for people too. Forgiving others, but I find mostly it's forgiving ourselves. That's the tricky part. There's a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda. We like to go down memory lane and analyze our previous decisions and moves and whatever. At the same time, temperance can also be a card of reconciliation. And I think a lot of the times I hear people say, I feel them coming back. I feel them coming back. Intuitively, I feel it. They're my person. They're coming back. Well, this is the thing. People always come back around. They do. They do. At the same time, though, are they really coming correct? And what are we allowing to come back around? Because to me, there's two types of people. There are people who breadcrumb, they ghost, they can't make boundaries. They're not in an energy that is moving forward. It just kind of goes around and around and around. And that kind of energy doesn't do you any good, because all it does is it takes you backwards and goes another round of heartbreak. It's kind of like this short-term gain that brings you a long-term pain. On the flip side, there are people that can come back around that show a level of consistency. I'm a believer that not everybody's perfect. Not everybody has to have everything aligned. It's all about the ambition to make changes, because typically people who are going round and around and around and around, or run when things get a little bit too serious or their emotions get a little bit too connected, those are people who run because they don't want to change, right? They want that break so that they can recalibrate themselves and then sort of come back in and then, try to sustain themselves, but then often run again because it gets to be too much. The people who are consistent and make small changes or have the ambition to grow, those are the type of people that I will always encourage taking it slowly with and allowing things to unfold. There's nothing wrong with that. If somebody's showing growth, evolution, change, learning, and consistency and communication, then go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to ask yourself, A, what energy are they in? Are they in the breadcrumbing round after round after round, or are they showing consistent growth and communication? And B, I would say, which energy are you in? Because if you're in an energy that says, I'm willing to trust the process, I'm willing to respect the process, I'm growing, I'm changing, and I'm not willing to accept the breadcrumbing, ghosting, whatever it is, then, that makes a difference. So it kind of goes hand in hand. Sorry for the side note here, but if you're looking for reconciliation, you've got to ask yourself, what does that actually mean to you? What would be a successful way of coming back in? And what does it mean to come correct? To me, somebody who comes correct has a plan. They're serious. This isn't just something that's flippant or, hey, this is somebody who takes accountability and shows change in their life, right? So sometimes we get really caught up in, somebody just coming back, but then we haven't really thought beyond that. So Temperance is Sagittarius energy. So intuitively right now, from a Sagittarius standpoint, there's truth, there's philosophy, there's teaching and learning, and the sort of expansive energy. And it's about big picture energy. Remember, a lot of us think subjectively versus objectively. We forget sometimes that there is a world beyond ourselves, that things happen to us that are important. They're for us, really. It's not just to us, it's for us, because it's changing our lives. It's giving us experience and wisdom and knowledge, and we're being asked to implement that, every round that we go. So the Sagittarius energy right now in your third eye, ask yourself, what is the intuition that you're experiencing? Is it, pushing you forward in the right ways? Or are you looking for things to almost pull you backwards? Because I think that there has been a bit of reverting backwards lately. And that's okay. We're human. But at the same time, we have to be very self-aware about that energy. And there's my point. There's my point. The broom. Number 11. Okay, so brand new beginning is 44 or 11. We have 33. Removing unwanted stuff, purging, a clean sweep, a cleanup, restoring balance to our life. That's what we really need, right? We need that balance. We need equal giving and receiving. And let's see what else. Family, loyalty, faith, allegiance, fidelity, commitment, trust, affection, support systems, origins, tribe, dependable, sincere, kindred spirits. So this is my point, that if you're looking at this card and saying, yeah, I want the reconciliation, patience, because most people, like I said, they don't want to have the patience, and I understand why. We want instant gratification, of course. And we don't want to think about forgiveness. We just want to think about, okay, are they coming back? Because that's always the question, right? Are they coming back? Are they coming back? Are they coming back? Yeah, they usually do. But again, what type of coming back? And if you want this loyalty and you want this allegiance and you want this solid connection, well, then you've got to remove anything that's unwanted, because every time I got better, the person got better, or the people got better. So remember that, you know, you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to accept and not willing to accept? What's going to bring you the benefit? So let's take a look at the crown chakra, the downloads. I love it. Oh my goodness, you cannot make this up. You just can't. The Wheel of Fortune, growth, expansion, and good luck. There's a shift happening, you know, and I always say don't fight the shift. That's that Sagittarius energy, that's that Jupiter energy, that good luck that we've been experiencing astrologically. I love that. Oh my goodness. There you go. Okay, so the swans, soulmates, twin flames, the one, a pair of things, deep soul connection, blooming love, faith, divination, and fluidity. The way you get to that is when you sweep away the stuff you don't want. It's when you have patience. It's when you ask yourself what you're willing to accept and not willing to accept. Because if you're saying to me that you want a solid relationship, you want somebody who's loyal, you want someone who is committed to the journey and is ambitious, then work on getting into that energy, because it's going to shift you into this beautiful love within yourself and love within another person. This question comes up very often, right? Are you in the old? Are you in the new? And this card, I think, came out the other day in another reading that I filmed. I think it may have been the chakra reading last week. I forget now. The labyrinth has two sides to it. You can be feeling lost, you know, lost in love. You can fight the shift and avoid making moves, you know, and go round and round and round, or you can sort things out, you know, because this is saying a situation to sort out, a problem to solve. What is your energy? Which one do you want to be in? Do you want to be lost? I mean, nobody wants to be lost, but seriously though, like if you're in the old energy where you're doing the same old and expecting something to change and it's not, well, you got to ask yourself, right? And complications, you know, it says here it's complicated. Well, of course there's always going to be complications in life, but the thing about complications or complicated situations is that it takes, you know, methodical steps to get through those complications. Is the situation truly complicated, or are you making it complicated? You know, because oftentimes we get in our own way. And what I like about this card is that it can actually represent you coming out of complications. It can be you problem solving, taking the time to problem solve, being patient with things. And again, let me remind you, because I feel like I have to say this all the time, because people misunderstand patience. Patience is not waiting. You don't wait on anyone or anything. I would never advise you to wait on anyone or anything at all, because patience means you're going to go live your life, do what you got to go do, sort things out, and let things come to you. And I'm telling you, when you do that and you allow yourself to shift forward, you get this. You get the good stuff. If you're making things complicated, or you're surrounding yourself with complicated energy and you're fighting the shift because you're afraid, and I understand fear is natural, but if you're so afraid of these things yet you want it so badly, how are you going to get there unless you sort it out and you take it step by step and day by day? Anything is possible. Please don't let yourself think that you're stuck, because even the toughest situations have a little bit of light. And the more you make moves, the more you are consistent with yourself and committed to yourself and your growth and your evolution, the more things get better day by day, step by step. Nothing is impossible. So that being said, let's take a card here for some last bit of guidance. All that glitters. Okay, so here's the thing. This is a card that says all that glitters isn't gold, meaning short-term pain, long-term gain, short-term gain, long-term pain. If someone or something is coming your way right now and it seems too good to be true, or it feels too good to be true, ask yourself, what do you get out of the situation? Have you been patient enough to think it through? Because I think something is going to be revealed here with this full moon in Sagittarius, and I think you're going to have to weigh your options. I do think there's a lot of really good luck coming here, obviously, but I want you to use discernment. I want you to have clarity. And so that's, I think, the focus of this moon. So I really hope this resonates with you. As always, I appreciate your kindness, your likes, your comments, your subscribes. It means the world to me. If you'd like to do a personal reading with me, the link is in my bio. And if you'd like to attend the full moon Zoom on Friday night, the link is in my bio as well. Thank you very much, and I wish you an amazing day.